Well, the weekend has begun, but it does not mean we have to end things here. So, we got a lot of things we're going to be reviewing. First things first, we got the latest ChocoPro show with number 402. So, basically, majority of the matches are, in fact, well, all the matches, should I add, are all tag team matches, but nothing too significant about it. So, it's going to be a lot of fun to review. And then, of course, we have the latest New Blood show with number 16, featuring many talent coming from other promotions, especially the juniors. But the main event features, of course, the New Blood tag team titles. As you know, the newly named tag team from EXV, Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako, known as Rice or Bread, will take on, of course, Hate members and the current New Blood tag team champions Rina and Azusa Inaba for the belts. So we'll see if we will have title exchange or is the same. And then we have two back to back events from AEW. We have, of course, Collision featuring various matches along the way. We have, of course, Ricochet taking on AR Fox. We have Jamie Hayter. We have, of course, for the AEW World Trios title match and various other things. And then we move on with the next show with AEW Battle of the Belts, featuring, of course, the AEW Continental Championship match. We even have, of course, a sort of a tag team match not involved in any tag team belts, and of course, an eliminator match for the AEW Women's World Title. Who will be facing Mariah May? That's going to be a good question. And as for our news updates, we're only going to focus on developments, basically what's been happening. So there is no upcoming events to announce, but this is what we're going to do. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, I can put it either on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions I've set aside, and it's time I'm going to give it all she's got, Captain. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this is from ChocoPro. Okay, ChocoPro number 402. So, can you believe it? We just reached the 400s. So, we'll see how life goes with ChocoPro as they progress. Now, of course, like any other moment, we do see the opening of the show with Bal and Aki giving everybody the info on what's going to happen for this particular event. Well, let's begin. Excuse me. Our first match, we have, of course, majority of the matches, well, all the matches are tag match. We have Hiroyi Yawada teaming up with Tokiko Kirihara, no, Nonaka Seto, my bad, while they face against Chiko Shikawa, one half of the Asian Dream Tag Team Champions, and of course, Mochi Natsumi. Now, I don't know why Obi was not in this one, but I'm going to guess that maybe she was unable to do so due to her schedule of her regular day job. If you guys know this, Obi is a chef. But I have to say it did pretty well for Chi and Mochi. I mean, even though they don't hardly team, but it worked in their favor because, of course, Chi and Mochi has much experience than both these ladies combined. Nonaka should be about almost over 1 year since her debut. Hiroyi maybe a couple of months, but that played out pretty well. But it was Chi with the stretch muffler onto Hiroyi, and just like that, she had no choice but to tap. Next up, we have another tag team. We have, of course, coming all the way from Gambari Pro, Manatatsu Nakamura. He teams up with Shin Suzuki. They face against Masahiro Takanashi and, of course, the boss of Gambari Pro, Ken Oka. Now, nothing too significant about this match, but we do know that Chi and Masa, they do have a bit of a, well, let's see, they can get along, they don't, but of course, Shin has often said how much he looked up to Masahiro, but Masahiro is the kind of guy that's like saying, hey kid, don't, don't believe in your heroes when you meet them, that sort of thing. But yeah, but however, of course, like any other type of match, it was, of course, Nakamura's boss, Oka, who picked up the win when he applied a spear, which in Ultimate led like that. So Oka and Masa picked up the win. Now our main event, we have Miya Yatsuba teaming up with Tokiko Kirihara. They take on, of course, Sayaka and Mei Suruga, our current Super Asia champion. Now, as you all know, recently, this is now the second time that Sayaka and Mei teamed up. Recently, before that, they were opponents for the Super Asian Championship, which of course resulted in Mei winning. But however, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know what's the significance of having them team up. I don't know if Mei Suruga is consistent thinking about maybe teaming up with Sayaka in hopes of winning the Asian Dream Tag Team belts, which I'm sure that's something that will be discussed somewhere down the line. But however, the match pretty well. Now, don't forget, Mia has learned from Mei Suruga. I'm sure she learned a lot from her. But it was Mei who picked up the win by pinning her in a position that looks like a jackknife. And of course, it allowed Mei to pin Mia, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. As for a Jonkin tournament, well, this one I wasn't too sure how it's gonna be. Of course, there'll be some moments, but I can tell in the end it was Sayaka who actually won the tournament. That means she won 2 matches in some ways. But yeah, so nonetheless, I'm very happy with it. So I think that's pretty much it with ChocoPro. So let's move on with Stardom New Blood. Okay, Stardom's New Blood 16th. This is the latest one they just put out. Our opening match, we have Rian taking on Manami from Sendai Girls. Now, of course, there was going to be some interesting factors of this one. Those who know this, Rian, on the other hand, has been wrestling for a couple of months. That would have been the factor, but it was, of course, a knee strike by Manami that allowed her to pick up the win. I'm sure it was a disappointing loss for Rian, but however, she still doesn't have the necessary ways to continue on right now. I'm sure she'll grow out of it, but it'll take time. Our next match, we have, of course, the Cosmic Angels rookies, better known as Sakurara, better referred to Sayaka Kurara, and Aya Sakura. They take on, of course, God's Eye members Rana Yagami and Lady C. Now, of course, many people who are Cosmic Angel fans like myself, we would have assumed that there's going to be, of course, Sakurara picking up the win. But however, due to certain interesting factors of this, Lady C, as you know, has a bit of more experience than all three people, the other three in the same ring. I'm talking about Rana Yagami, Kurara, and Sayaka. But however, it was Rana Yagami that was able to pick up the win on Kurara by applying a submission. Now, of course, this put, of course, Sakurada in a position where they felt that they could have won this match and maybe, just maybe, allowed them to have another opportunity of the New Blood Tag Team belts. So basically, the juniors are now aiming for either the New Blood belt or the future belt. That is something we will constantly see. Next up, we have, of course, Spike Nishimura teams up with Sendai Girls Yuna to take on Neo Genesis Miyu Amasaki and Starlight Kid. So nothing too significant of this particular match in every way possible, but of course this was going to be a moment where Yuna has to face against the top junior in well, the current top junior in Stardom, which is Amasaki. I'm sure that's something that Yuna probably will look into it, but however, it was in fact Starlight Kid who put her in her place by applying the Black Tiger leg killer, forcing her to tap out. Next up, we have Honoka and Kaheku from Pro Wrestling Wave. They face against the other members of God's Eye, more specifically Tomoka Inaba and Hina. So of course we're going to see interesting moments. Now don't forget, when it comes to Kohaku, she is in fact a strong girl. She's like the version of Saida in her promotion. But you look at Tomoka Inaba, she has a bit of the necessary skills as a karate expert, Hina with the judo. But of course this match led for, of course, to, Tomoka to apply the Michinoku driver on Honoka. Just like that, it was over. Yes, folks, she does know the Michinoku driver, which is a move that, of course, was taught to her by Taka Michinoku, just like Maika. As you know, Maika and Tomoka are in fact sisters, but not by blood, due to the fact they were trained by the same guy. Now, our next match, which is our main event, we have the New Blood Tag Team belts defended. We have Rice and Bread, members of EXV, Hanako and Waka Tsukiyama. Now, this was their main goal since they first teamed up. Ever since then, they have been unsuccessful last time when they couldn't face the previous champions. We're talking about Saida and, of course, Hanan. Now that these belts are in the hands of Hate, Azusa Inaba, and Rina. So you probably can say, now, however, the one thing is interesting is, of course, we do know Hanako has been using that one submission move that played a good factor in majority of her matches to pick up wins. But the real question you ask yourselves, is this going to be a factor? Of course it's going to be a factor in this match, but I'm sure Hate has been keeping an eye out on what Hanako has been doing, and that did not do any effect for them. But however, Hanako ended up in a submission by Rina and forcing her to tap out, which is a huge disappointing loss for them. But however, of course, Hanako and Waka mentioned in their post-match comments that they're not giving up on their hopefully another shot of the New Blood Tag Team belts. But we'll see what happens. But however, new challengers have arose, and those challengers are none other than Rana Yagami and Lady C. And of course, that match that they had with Sakurada kind of played out in that factor. So we will see what happens down the road. But for now, we'll end things here with New Blood. Let's move on with AEW Collision. Okay, AEW Collision. Now, as always, Jon Moxley decides to put another video promo about what's been going on. As you know, he's talking about changes in the front line, that things need to change, that nothing has changed since his time arriving in AEW, so that's something he's well aware of. But he's putting the entire AEW on notice. So the cause of concern is, what will the AEW locker room will do? Will there those who will fight back, others will accept Moxley that he's right, or those will remain neutral? So we'll get to that much of it. Now, our next match, we have Ricochet versus AR Fox. Now, this match was set upon after Ricochet was unsuccessful to win the AEW International Championship that currently is won by Takeshita. But however, he put up an open challenge, and the person who answered it is none other than AR Fox. I'm sure there was going to be some interesting high-flying spots in this one, as any other match we would have seen. But however, it was the vertigo by Ricochet that gave him the win. Now he did put out a promo calling out Takeshita, telling him that he would challenge him anytime, any given place. But right now, he'll get to that. Now, of course, we saw what happened this past Wednesday. Daniel Garcia and Private Party were telling the Bucks, who are the EVPs, that they're nothing but gutless cowards for not doing a damn thing what the BCC have been doing. Now, we cannot verify if that's what they're calling themselves now. We will not see. But however, of course, this is a major threat. But however, of course, Private Party said that they will come for those tag belts when that day comes, but they have other plans to do. Now, our next match, we have Chris Statlander versus Harley Cameron. Of course, Harley Cameron with her little ways, with a bit of screw loose, you would think that she would pick up a win, but however, it was Chris Statlander with the Saturday Night Fever that allowed her to pick up the win. But however, she has one thing in her mind at the moment. In the post-match promo, she called out Camille, and then she told Mercedes Moné to get his chair and watch her as she kicks her ass. But the question is, can she pull it off? Well, we will see. Now, our next match, we have Private Party and Daniel Garcia taking on those wimps of a losers, the premier athletes, and of course, that weasel Sterling being on the side. Of course, he was going to get in the way. But however, the cohesion has been great. But it was the gin juice onto Josh Woods that allowed him to pick up the win. And Isaiah was the one who pinned Woods. And just like that, it's over. Now, our next match, we have Orange Cassidy taking on Bronson, one half of the Iron Savages. Well, this match ended quickly with a combination of both the Orange Punch and Beach Break. So, just like that. Our next match, we have Jamie Hayter versus Brooke Havoc. Well, I can tell you this match ended with the haterade. However, as you many wondered, as you know, she has one thing in mind. It's getting her hands on Penelope Ford. But however, Penelope Ford said that this is why she went after her. Now remember, Penelope Ford has been out of action for nearly 2 years. As for Jamie Hayter, 1 year. And the last person she was interacting with was with Jamie Hayter. And she feels like, you didn't even contact me and all that. So you're nothing but a backstabber. So basically, that's the reason. So basically, it's what Jamie Hayter did not do. Now, of course, we did see Private Party and Daniel Garcia celebrate their victory. But however, Orange Cassidy showed up. But Daniel Garcia is saying that, of course, they need guys like him, not to be the hero, but be the leader of AEW. However, Orange Cassidy doesn't seem like he is one himself. Because as you all know, deep down, him and Darby Allin felt like they failed Bryan Danielson to help him after the onslaught by, of course, Jon Moxley and the BCC. So we will see what happens down the line. Or someone has to step up. Our next match, you can call it a rematch or a revenge match, however you want. This is between Atlantis Jr. and, of course, Kyle Fletcher. Now remember, Kyle Fletcher was the Ring of Honor World Television Champion until he lost it to Atlantis Jr. back in June in CML in Arena Mexico. So, of course, that was a match where you can say Kyle Fletcher could rectify. But, however, Kyle Fletcher gained that loss back when he applied a somewhat of a brainbuster on top of the turnbuckle, hitting Atlantis Jr. in the head. Now, of course, he said that he was not willing to give the reasons why he turned his back on Will. He said he will do it on Wednesday. Now, our next match, we have the House of Black, Buddy Matthews, Brody King, and Malachi Black taking on Alpha Zoe, Chris Nasty, and Illuminate. Of course, this match was going to fall in favor with the House of Black, but it was Alpha Zoe who ended up on the wrong side of that triple combo by all members of the House of Black, but it was Buddy Matthews that picked up the win. Now, Alexi Neer conducted an interview with none other than Thunder Rosa. As you know, she has been out due to concussion. Now she's medically cleared. She talked about winning her title, a championship match in the UK. However, her interview was interrupted by the most obnoxious person. Once again, she did this to Rachel Ellering in Ring of Honor. Now she's doing it in with Thunder Rosa. We're talking about Harley Cameron, but she had it coming. She got knocked the F out by none other than Thunder Rosa. So I'm sure we're going to see what's going to happen until then. Now, our next match, we have the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd taking on the La Facción Ingobernable, or better known as LF5. We have Beast Mortos and Rouge. So basically, there was going to be a lot of interesting moments. I love this match. It was really fun. However, the X factor of this match is Realistico, who was on the side. He got himself knocked out by Turbo, but however, he was able to help Beast Mortos to pick up the win on no Rush to pick up win by Turbo. But however, this match turned into a beatdown by LFI due to a numbers game. But luckily, the Outrunners brethren, FTR, showed up for the help. Now remember, we do know that Los Ingobernables did watch their match recently, so we will see what happens until then. Now our main event is the AEW World Trios titles. We have, well, we can't say if they are initially called themselves the BCC. Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac defending the trios titles against Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin, and Action Andretti. Now, of course, you can see there's going to be some moments, but however, the BCC were way too much for them. It was, in fact, a tombstone by Pac to pick up the win, and just like that, all hell broke loose when Moxley showed up. Leo Rush showed up, and along with Layla Gray, but nothing came to effect. We did see the Dark Order show up, so there was an out-loud war. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll end things here with this one and move on with AEW's Battle of the Belts. Okay, Battle of the Belts. Our first match is the AEW Continental Championship. We have Kaguchika Okada versus Kyle O'Reilly. Now, this is a match that, of course, Kyle O'Reilly set up. Now, you would think that this match was going to be a really tough match. It was. Now, you would think that there's going to be a lot of power, a lot of striking capability. It kind of did. But unfortunately, this match ended with Kaguchika Okada retaining the belt when he applied the Rainmaker to retain the belt. So, Okada's reign as the Continental Championship still reigns. Now, as you know, we did see LFI make their point stated out. They're putting the entire AEW locker room on notice. But however, we did see Beast Mortos attacking Hologram, a guy he has lost to twice. He was intending to take off his mask. So we will see what happens down the road with them. Our next match is not a particular match involving championships. We have, of course, Lance Archer and Brian Cage. Now, of course, Don Callis, who is the guy who runs these guys, their aim are for the tag team belts, but they face against Jack Cartwheel and John Cruz. But you probably can guess that this match ended in favor in Lance Archer and Brian Cage when they applied a very interesting combination, a blackout into a spike powerbomb that allowed them to win. Now, we did see a bit of an interview with Lexineer that was suggested by Undisputed Kingdom. They decided to have an intervention with Beast Mortos. As you know, he thinks that Roderick Strong, who likes Beast Mortos, is saying, "What is wrong with you, bro? Why are you hanging out with them and eating meat?" But of course, you know, we don't know what Beast Mortos says in his beast form. So they were saying that what you did to Hologram is not cool, and I don't think Beast Mortos gives a goddamn about it. But that's how he is. Now, our main event is a eliminator match for the AEW Women's title. Now, of course, Mariah May, as you know, recently she has been throwing a temper tantrum Basically, as you know, she was looking for the competition. But I don't think she considered Anna Jay as a potential competitor or a threat. Now, of course, Mariah May, as you know, she spent maybe half of a year during her time in Japan. As for Anna Jay, she only spent 1 month. So she thinks that, she's way out of her league. But one thing was interesting is how this match ended. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't too sure if Anna Jay took a page out of Saki Kashima's playbook, and you guys know what I'm talking about, the Kishikase, which has helped um, Saki Kashima many times to win her matches. And it seems like it was, so that means Anna Jay gets an opportunity of the AEW Women's World Title. But should Mariah May be concerned? I would say so. So we will see where that leads us. So for now, we are done with a review. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, our news updates. So, as I said earlier, there is no upcoming events to reveal, but however, we do have some developments. Now, many of you know on this part, Mina Shirakawa is the current RevPro Undisputed British Women's Champion. However, the owner of RevPro has talked about the potential of having that championship defended in Stardom. Now, of course, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussions about it, so we'll see where that leads. But I gotta ask you guys, do you want to see that belt defended in Stardom? Leave a comment down below on that one. It was revealed that Michael Cole will be taking a 10-day vacation with his family. Well, he probably deserves it to take some time off. Some people believe that he may be on his way to Mexico, which, of course, that would be interesting to hear. Jim Cornette recently went on, and tell me if you guys agree or disagree. He believes that the Midnight Express, a team that he in the past managed, should be in the Hall of Fame. Do you guys agree with him? Yes or no? Just leave a comment down below. Now, many of you know this pretty well, that Booker T has a strong relationship with, of course, Zilla Fatu, due to the fact that he helped his father, Umaga, who in fact was part of his promotion. So basically, he's going to try to get him in the WWE right away. So there's been talks about that. Now, a very interesting development has arose within, of course, Ice Ribbon. Yuji Mashiro has been taking that there's been unpaid wages and new communications with the president of the company after winning the Ice Infinity belt. And this is what she went on. Well, I can't go into details, but we haven't been able to get in touch with him since a month ago, or since last month, or maybe late last month. All of our calls and contracts have been cut off. He hasn't responded to anything. No matter how many times we contacted him or call him, he does not respond. Even we all have contacted President Goshima. He never responded. So we're really anxious in going into today. What shall we do? What should we do? How? Everyone is naturally really anxious about the president have been gone. Yes, we are putting our bodies on the line, risking our lives to this. So the fact that the person who is in charge of the money and other aspects is gone, I'm sorry. I can't really explain it well. I'm sorry. She goes on about, if the wrestler salaries are not being paid. I can't say it for myself, but that's the situation. Yes, that's why I'm very anxious to stay of heading into today. So it makes sense. I mean, we know recently there has been issues with the previous president of Ice Ribbon. Now, remember, some people are blaming him for now Shikawa and, of course, the late Asai, who leaving the promotion. Asai, as you know, went on in a transfer to Atlas Girls, and of course now Shikawa, who had her trust issues towards him, but now it seems like another president is causing a bit of a problem. So that kind of sucks. So I hope the girls and Ice Ribbon can work something out. Well, if somehow Ice Ribbon just finds a president, knows what he's doing. I feel like this whole thing with Ice Ribbon has gone into a different state, but we'll see what happens. Now, Starlight Kid recently talked about potentially having a match with Anna Jay. This is what she says. Anna Jay was the first time I had faced a proper match against an AEW wrestler. The fact that my leg attacks were effective against Anna Jay, who's much bigger than me, and that I was able to win, give me confidence. Also, she has a cute face. I like to fight her again. Seems like she wants to go to round two. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it's either in Stardom or in AEW, but I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I don't know if she will be considered part of the same generation as her, but I wouldn't be surprised if they offered her to join Neo Genesis for obvious reasons. We know that she is good friends with Azumi, if you guys remember. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. She could be the first ever AEW talent to align herself with Neo Genesis. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, we are done with everything. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, recently we did hear that Sendai Girls did have their last leg of the tournament involving the juniors between Chi-Chi and Aya Sakura. So that's going to be a good match. I'm not 100% sure if I'll be watching that. We'll just see. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but like any other time, I'm just going to wing it. So we'll see what happens. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.